For a while now, everyone wanted to be clean, polished, put together, effortless, but in a very specific type of way. And now we're tired of that. We're tired of the generic uniform, the slick back bun, the gold hoops, the matching sets. We want more. We want personality. We want personal style. Insert messy chic. A style philosophy that's really gaining traction, that really focuses on having lived in and loved clothing that feels effortless but still elevated. Items in your wardrobe that have meaning, depth, and dimensionality. Messy chic isn't about being undone, it's about being unperformed. So in today's video, I want to deep dive into what the clean girl aesthetic was, what messy chic is and why it's different, and how to incorporate it without falling victim to the trend cycle. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stick around for the entirety of today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's dive in. So let's discuss what the clean girl aesthetic really was. It was a lot about incorporating neutrals, having almost like a uniform that consisted only of basics, a lot of ribbed tops, bodysuits, just a lot of neutrals that kind of gave skims or any sort of that loungewear set type of aesthetic. So kind of that more athleisure to loungewear aesthetic. And for a while now, that was really popular. I think, again, we were fatigued of the 2020s where we had these bright patterns and just kind of more wacky, fun style. And clean girl was our first kind of taste of that transition back to a more muted color palette, back to more simple neutrals and basics, and just really shifting away from that more avant-garde and loud style to a more quiet and clean style, hence the name clean girl. And it also evoked a certain lifestyle. It was more luxury, wellness adjacent, very much focused on a kind of that girl or it girl routine, and you dressed like a clean girl. So it was very much a world. It was very much an aesthetic of its own. And I don't think wellness or trying to eat healthier is an inherently bad thing, but I think when it's overly commodified and overly expressed in a way that it can only be one look to achieve that type of lifestyle is where it can start to lean a little bit more toxic and a little bit more oppressive and kind of encouraging conformity. So the silhouette and items it included were slick back bun or low ponytail, neutral rib tanks and bodysuits, matching sets, tailored trousers or leggings, gold hoops, delicate chains, minimal makeup, and glass skin. So the vibe was very controlled, very Instagram ready, and very symmetrical. Just everything very cohesive, harmonious. Just you looked like you were very controlled. The and great thing about this was that it was easy to replicate, it was calm, it was polished, and it had a lot of low visual noise. I think the pitfalls of the clean girl aesthetic is that there was little room for individuality. It was very controlled, very costume-like, and it relies on perfect basics and constant maintenance. Enter messy chic. Messy chic is really defined by intentionality without the performance. And I think that's the biggest factor that we got kind of fatigued with the whole clean girl aesthetic. It was very performative. It was very much this very small box that you had to fit into and constantly feed into that machine of what was like within the confines of that very small box. So again, it had to be the trending sets, the trending gold hoops, the trending makeup, and it could only fit into this very small and restrictive box of what it looked like, of what clothes it entailed, etc. And that can be very exhausting after a while because at the end of the day, we're not robots. We're not meant to be carbon copies of each other. And I think it really feels like you're repressing your individuality when you feel like you have to fit into this small box. And that's why people really love and are gravitating towards this messy chic aesthetic. It's about being slightly undone, imperfect, and personal. I think it adds that warmth and approachability. So instead of coming across as extremely controlled, it gives that very much ease, I woke up like this effortless vibe. And the clothes look lived in, not overly styled or just fresh off of Amazon. It's very much that vintage patinaed leather look, that I got this from my grandmother and it's been passed down through the generations look. And I think that adds a little bit more depth and dimensionality to any look. And then finally, there's a sense of ease without uniformity. So it's more of a style philosophy rather than strict confines that you have to buy and that you have to fit into. And I think that's another dimension and another level of ease that this whole philosophy brings forth. It's not about looking a specific way. It isn't even identifiable, and it shouldn't be identifiable, because at the end of the day, it's about something that's personalized to you rather than something that I'm encouraging you to buy from a specific brand or a specific garment. It can be whatever you want it to be, just as long as it's authentic and lived in to you. Messy chic is all about style looking accidental when in reality it isn't. It's still very intentional. It's also important to note what this trend is not. It is not about chasing trends. It is not about being sloppy, and it's not about being too quirky or too avant-garde. It's still somewhat minimal. It's still somewhat polished, but just elevated, just lived in, just comfortable, just a little bit more at ease and approachable and attainable for everyone. Just as long as you can go to your local thrift store and find a really good leather jacket, you should be good to go. But at the end of the day, it's all about your authenticity, figuring out what's chic to you and applying it to your wardrobe without it looking like a uniform that anyone can copy and paste. So let's break down the messy chic outfit formula. Oversized coats with simple layers, unbuttoned shirts, wrinkled trousers on purpose, cuffed sleeves, vintage denim, scarves tied imperfectly, hair that moves, shoes that look worn in. So again, it's not about having specific items. And again, the coat doesn't even necessarily have to be super oversized if that doesn't work with your body width or your petite frame, etc. But it's about it looking lived in on you. So it doesn't have to be exactly what Jane Birkin wore or what Carolyn Bessette Kennedy wore. It can be these things defined and tailored to you. And that's what messy chic really is about. It's about being lived in, feeling comfortable, feeling effortless, but also having these elevated high quality basics that really speak to your silhouette and your personal style. So here are a couple icons that were very prevalent within both aesthetics. So I would say the clean girl kind of queen of that aesthetic is definitely Hailey Bieber. She really leaned into that kind of sporty, matching set, slick back bun, clean girl aesthetic, especially with the makeup and road beauty. It was very much kind of her iconic aesthetic. And I think a lot of the girlies leaned into that and really followed her style. So if that style still feels authentic to you, I'm not saying you should just drop it just because I'm saying, that messy chic might be the new emerging thing. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying I think she really encompassed the aesthetic and really coined the aesthetic. And so if you need inspiration and if you still want to participate in that aesthetic and you feel like it's authentic to you, she's a great source of inspo. And then for the messy chic style icons, I would say definitely Jane Birkin, any of those real French women who just have that very effortless, kind of undone but still done up style. I would definitely say Taylor Russell, Zoe Kravitz, definitely a lot of these kind of street style heavy girlies who just have that very effortless and chic kind of iconic style that is just so lived in but still practical and elevated. So I'll insert some inspo here, of course, as I always do, but it's just important to note that you can find inspiration from anyone that really speaks to your style. It's not, again, it's not supposed to be a specific look. It's not something that you need to copy one for one. It's more about this elevation while still being undone and practical. So anyone that you feel shares your lifestyle or has looks that seem to work within the confines of your lifestyle can be messy chic, just as long as it looks lived in and it seems practical. Anything can be messy chic. So here are some visual cues to look out for. Any sort of asymmetry, anything that says, I styled this, but I styled this in a way that's slightly different or slightly unique to me. Not too avant-garde, but just slight tweaks, slight asymmetry. Next up is texture play. And texture play can just be as simple as mixing leather with lace or denim with cotton. Like any form of just textured in depth in an outfit is really, really a huge visual cue in the messy chic style philosophy. And next up is layering that feels intuitive. So not layering for the performance of layering or for the performance of seeming stylish or avant-garde or cool, but layering that makes sense, that isn't too out of this world or trying to reinvent any sort of wheel. Layering that just seems flowing, effortless, but still intentional and practical and functional. So with the intent of either being stylish or warm or a combination of both. Nothing has to match perfectly, but it needs to work and it needs to flow together. So again, knowing your wardrobe color palette, knowing your color season, knowing what kind of flows and matches in a way that isn't one for one, like the clean girl aesthetic, where I feel like you had these matching presets that you would just buy and wear. It's more about understanding hues, shades, saturation, and the nuance behind color, and then applying that to your wardrobe. So here are some similarities and differences between the clean girl aesthetic and the messy chic aesthetic. Both value restraint. So neither are too loud, too avant-garde, too crazy. Both avoid loud logos. So neither of them really had any sort of big logo, any print, anything that's too flashy or somewhat capricious. And then the next, both prioritize fit over trend. So I think a lot of the silhouettes that you would see in both clean girl and messy chic are very much these traditional tried and true silhouettes. Again, nothing too crazy, nothing too avant-garde. And both reject fast fashion in theory. So again, it seems like with clean girl, you could just have one basic neutral set and that be, you'd be set to participate in the aesthetic. Same with messy chic. Just as long as you have a good pair of vintage denim and a nice button down, you're pretty much good to go. But I think, again, that's a very watered down and a very kind of surface level explanation of both trends. But I think in theory, they both were trying to just simplify getting ready and simplify the whole wardrobe process. And so, of course, with any sort of simplification or discipline comes less of a need to buy. So here are some ways you can apply the messy chic philosophy to your own wardrobe. Number one, rewear clothes you already own. I promise you probably already have some really great elevated basics living somewhere in your closet as we speak. And all you have to do is just figure out different ways to style them and different ways of incorporating them into the day-to-day. Next, outfit repeat. Every single style icon was an outfit repeater. It's so important to find your signature silhouette and stick to it ruthlessly. Let clothes age, wrinkle, and soften. And a lot of this can be fast forwarded by just vintage shopping and secondhand shopping. A lot of that lived in and loved look that we all love is really just from age and letting our really high quality basics kind of add character and get rings kind of like on a tree. It's really about letting your clothes age and just speak to how beautiful and high quality the material really is. Next step is to style intuitively, not too symmetrically or not too constrictively. So you don't want to over style yourself. I think that's a really important component in the whole messy chic aesthetic. You need to maintain this contrast between looking a bit undone while looking intentional. And finding that balance in the middle is really where you get that chef's kiss outfit and aesthetic and look that we're all looking for. So just making sure to add only really one accessory, like one belt, and make that the focal point of the outfit, or one long necklace and make that the focal point of the outfit, or scarf or bangles, etc. So just having one accessory and letting the styling and the undoneness be the kind of vibe of the outfit. And last but not least is to just be yourself. Find what's authentic to you, because at the end of the day, that confidence, that comfort, that authenticity will shine through and make the outfit look a million times better. Like when you see these older, more mature women in these street style videos just looking so cool, so knowing, so wise, so it girl, to me, that confidence that comes from them knowing themselves and being unapologetic, just like kind of Rihanna at her height, like that bad girl Riri vibe, like that's what we need to embody. So instead of constantly feeling or looking or trying to look like, Hailey Bieber or someone else, try to be the icon of your own life. Try to be the it girl in your own life and really work on pouring into yourself, hyping yourself up, and finding what's authentic to you. And with that, that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching the entirety of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!